Episode 1, The Lost Megalith. Rain lashed against the cracked windows of Leo's apartment, smearing the city lights into blurry streaks of neon and grime. Leo Adams sat hunched over in his dimly lit corner, the glow of his VR rig casting a cold, bluish light over his face. The ancient headset was beat up, with too many patches and wires barely held together by duct tape and hope. But tonight wasn't about hardware. No, tonight was about the game. A game that seemed to have something hidden in it, something calling to him. Leo tugged the headset on, grumbling to himself as he fidgeted with the straps. "If this thing breaks down one more time," he muttered, knowing full well he'd just scavenge another part and keep going. The latest VR build of Lost Megaliths, the Dawn of Mysteries, loaded up, surrounding him in the sweeping desert sands and lush jungles of some long-lost temple complex. The graphics were surprisingly advanced for an indie title, but the real draw was how it felt. Every step, every ancient symbol he uncovered seemed to pull him in a little deeper, like it knew him somehow. As he advanced through the crumbling halls of the virtual temple, he noticed the air felt thick, buzzing with something that felt alive. Strange carvings covered the walls, ancient symbols woven together into elaborate patterns that, when he squinted just right, seemed to flicker and shift. But he ignored it, focused on grinding his way up to the next level. He was only here to get XP, unlock a few new artifacts, and call it a night. That's when he noticed it. A faint glow emanating from a shadowed alcove he was certain hadn't been there before. It pulsed, slow and steady, like a heartbeat. Leo reached out with a gloved hand, fingertips brushing the virtual wall as it shimmered and dissolved to reveal a hidden passage. "Now this is new," he whispered, leaning forward with wide eyes. He'd played this game long enough to know every inch of the map, every Easter egg and secret rooms. But this was something else. He took a step forward, the narrow passage swallowing him in darkness. The walls seemed to breathe, ancient whispers echoing through the space as he ventured deeper. Goosebumps prickled his skin despite himself. It felt oddly real, like the game was watching him, waiting. He turned a corner and gasped. At the end of the corridor, in the flickering torchlight, stood a stone monolith, rising from the ground like some ancient sentinel. Its surface was covered in the same strange symbols from his dreams, symbols he recognized but couldn't understand. His stomach dropped. He hadn't told anyone about the dreams, the strange visions that visited him, flashes of temples and hieroglyphs, a voice calling his name from somewhere just beyond reach. It had all started last month, and at first, he'd chalked it up to too much gaming, maybe a few too many late-night conspiracy videos. But now, this was impossible. Taking a shaky breath, he approached the monolith, his eyes scanning the intricate designs carved into the stone. Just then, the game's UI glitched out, leaving him alone in the silence of the virtual temple. There was a static hum in the air, almost like a whisper. Without thinking, he reached out, fingers grazing the surface. His hand began to burn, not like the tingling of a VR haptic glove, but real, searing heat. Then came the voice. It wasn't a game voiceover, no pre-recorded message or spooky echo. This was a deep, resonant voice that seemed to vibrate through his entire body, laced with both calm and warning. "Leo," his heart froze. "Leo, you are closer than you think." He jerked his hand back, stumbling a few steps. The monolith shimmered and pulsed, symbols rearranging themselves, forming a face, or something close to one. A figure that looked both human and something far, far beyond. Leo's instincts told him to quit the game, rip off the headset, and forget he'd ever seen this. But his curiosity, that itch in his brain that had kept him coming back to the game night after night, told him otherwise. But just as his hand reached out to touch it, a jolt of fear seized him once again. "What am I even doing?" Leo muttered to himself, ripping off the headset with a frustrated sigh. He sat there, blinking in the dim, bluish light of his apartment. The room felt colder, emptier. His fingers tingled strangely from the VR interaction, like the haptic feedback had somehow gone haywire. He shook his head, raking a hand through his dark hair. "It's just a game, Leo. Get a grip." He dropped the headset onto the cluttered table next to the mountain of energy drink cans and yesterday's takeout containers, then got up and stretched. The game had sucked him in more deeply than usual this time, but that was nothing new. Still, as he glanced back at the headset, a a part of him couldn't shake the unease prickling at the back of his mind, even as he went to sleep. The next couple of days blurred together. Leo took the long route between the hospital, school, and his 2 part-time jobs. He thought, this is the best way to avoid neighborhood trouble. However, the eerie encounter with the monolith and Lost Megaliths kept clouding his thoughts like a splinter. But real life offered distractions to keep him from going back too soon. Thursday, the hospital visit. Leo's first stop after school each day was the hospital. His dad lay in a bed there, tubes and wires weaving around his body in a chaotic tangle, a symphony of beeps and whirs filling the sterile air. Some days, his dad would be awake, managing a weak smile and a cracked joke or two. On other days, he'd be too tired to do anything but stare at the ceiling, barely aware that Leo was even there. Today was one of the good days, and Leo pulled up a chair by his dad's bedside, forcing a grin. "Leo, kiddo, you look tired. Don't you ever sleep?" his dad asked, his voice a raspy whisper. Leo shrugged. "Comes with the life. Sleep when you're dead, right?" His dad chuckled softly, though it quickly turned into a cough. "Ain't that the truth? Don't waste too much time in those books, Leo. I know you're smart, smarter than me, but you gotta live a little too. Life's short." Leo nodded, the usual pang in his chest tightening. Life was short, for some, much shorter than it should be. As he left the hospital that night, Leo couldn't shake the feeling that he was holding his breath, waiting for something to happen. He just hoped he'd be strong enough to handle it when it did. Friday, high school. Leo didn't have many friends at school. Not that he minded, though. Friends meant attachments, and attachments meant distractions. His priority was making it through school in one piece, getting his dad through treatment, and staying out of trouble with the gangs that roamed his neighborhood. But trouble always seemed to find him. In chemistry, he leaned over his notebook, sketching out diagrams while the teacher droned on. Just as he was starting to lose himself in the calculations, he felt something wet smack the back of his neck. He reached up, fingers touching a gooey mass, gum, fresh and sticky. A muffled laugh came from the back of the classroom. Leo turned around, meeting the smug faces of the school's elite. The football team thought they ruled the place, and Leo was an easy target, the quiet kid with a smart mouth. He didn't have the muscle to go toe-to-toe with them physically, but he had a weapon they lacked, a sharp wit and a whole lot of patience. He ignored the snickers, instead flashing the guys a grin. "Thanks for the gift, boys," he said in a loud voice, pulling the gum from his hair and sticking it right on the desk of the team captain, Ethan. "I'll take care of it for you." That earned him a round of glares and a couple of muttered threats, but Leo was used to it. They could try to intimidate him, but they couldn't make him cower. And, as always, he'd live to see another day.